This is an iPhone 13 Pro Max with a cracked screen. But wait, we're not just going to be replacing the screen like we usually do. We're going to be doing something you probably haven't seen before and probably didn't even know you can do. We're going to just be replacing the glass. This process is extremely tedious and extremely time consuming, but it's worth it because you get to maintain the original quality of your display and you also don't get any important messages. The device doesn't even know that you swapped the screen because, well, it's the same one. We're going to be using this machine by Refox to pull this off, but first we have to remove the screen. So this is an all-in-one refurbishing machine that lets you remove the glass, laminate and debubble the new glass, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you're about to understand. We'll slap this into our display remover tool. I absolutely love this thing. Apply some heat. If you're wondering where to get any of the tools I use, I have all the links on my website and the Refox machine is linked in the description. You can see the screen starting to come up. When this phone first came out, a screen replacement was like $500, something crazy. It's about $250, $300 now, which is still pretty crazy. And buying the glass to do this process is only like $5. It's pretty cheap. So once you get this machine and you have the skills to pull this off, you could just refurbish these on a daily basis and make a decent amount of money doing this. Open it up and hit this phone with unscrews. Before we have to do this process, we have to remove any components that are on the display. And those components are right over here. So we definitely don't want to damage those. Disconnect. And there we go. We have the screen separated. Now we just have to carefully remove the proximity sensor and ambient light sensor that's attached to the screen. There we go. Now it's time to explain the display refurbishing process. So your display is basically made up of three components. You have the frame, which is this guy over here. It's actually just glued on. You have the actual OLED, which is obviously the display, and then you have the glass. So to do this, we need to actually just remove the glass because, believe it or not, the frame isn't attached to the glass. They designed things a little bit differently with the 13 Pro Max. With past models, you had to remove the frame, but with this one, you can kind of just bypass it. What you do have to remove though is the little mesh here. You gotta pop this out. There we go. We have the mesh removed. Now we gotta pull out our refurbishing machine. We'll clean everything up and move everything aside. So you might be wondering, what the hell is going on over here? Well, underneath this silicone mat, we have a vacuum. And what this vacuum does is basically when I place the screen over here, it'll suck down on the screen so that when I'm using this wire to cut through the glue between the glass and the actual OLED, it won't move around everywhere. It'll be stuck in place and it makes it just a little bit easier. To do this, we're gonna need to use some pretty heavy duty gloves because the wire we're using can very easily cut your fingers. So this is quite important. Now on the machine, we're gonna turn on the vacuum and I'm gonna explain to you a little bit more about this whole process. We need to set the temperature of the flatbed, that's this metal bed here, to 110 degrees Celsius. That's about as hot as the screen can get without damaging the OLED. Now that this is nice and hot, we'll apply some alcohol to loosen the adhesive even more. Here's where the gloves come in. We're gonna wrap the wire around each index finger and start slicing. This corner of the display is our entry point. We just have to go back and forth with the wire, applying downward pressure so that we're not accidentally damaging the display. And once we get the wire fully under the glass, it's smooth sailing from there. Or so I thought. With most of the glass already removed, the vacuum was no longer holding it down, so I had to use my other hands as well, and we finally got that last piece off. So yes, we did remove the OLED successfully, but we have no idea if it still works. These OLED displays are pretty fragile, so it's important we test things along the way. We'll go ahead and boot the phone on and see what happens. We have the Apple logo. It's very hard to see because there's a lot of glue over it, but it's there. And we have the home screen. Check that out. Look at how cool this is. OLEDs are very bendy. You can see it's literally not flat right now. you can bend it and it'll be fine. Now, because we know it's working, we're gonna clean up that glue, disconnect the